You have arrived at Laughbox, the podcast for the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. We are so excited you're here.
Welcome to Laughbox, the official podcast of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. I'm Jim Bob Williams.
And I'm Katie B.
And our guest today is simply amazing. It's our pleasure to introduce to you Bincze, who has done things. If you've been involved in Toastmasters, you may be familiar with her. If you're doing a TEDx talk, you may want to talk to her about being coached for that. So, Bincze, welcome to Laughbox.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Right. So, please tell us, how did you get involved in the world of speaking, coaching, and humor? Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, let me start with humor.
Okay.
I was always envious of people who had a great sense of humor. I've been always cheerful. I loved laughing, but I felt I was not funny. And it did not change till my very first humor conference in Orlando, Florida, where we started together with KTB, the Humor Academy. And this is where I learned that I don't have to be funny. I just need to see the fun around me. I mean, it was a life-changing conference and a life-changing information. This is when I first met the members of the AATH, and this is where I started to learn more about humor.
Bincze, where are you? Where are you located?
Oh, I'm Hungary, Budapest. I believe this is one of the nicest cities in the world, and I love that. But if you hear Hungarian speaking, they have a tendency to complain. And that's one of the reasons I chose for my humor project the topic to help people laugh more and complain less. Because to tell the truth, I started to get enough of that.
Oh.
Nice. And can you talk about, in Hungary, how did you start all of this? Where did you come from?
I've been working for General Electric for 24 years. I've been a finance director. So you're supposed to be a serious person, but we had lots of fun with my teams and with my colleagues. So I believe that was a good start. And then when I became a freelancer, I'm a coach and a trainer currently, and also a speaker. As I became freelancer, I was thinking about my career. And being a CFO in Eastern Europe is a big thing. I'm very proud of that. But still, I met many people during my career who I believe did much less than I did and still got promoted faster because they could sell themselves. And I felt that this is really about communication. I should get better in communicating. And this is when I joined Toastmasters. And then, thanks to Toastmasters, I became a TEDx speech coach. I already helped more than 100 people to find their message and deliver it more eloquently. And I believe that's fantastic. I mean, everyone has a message, if you think about that. Actually, most of the people have more than one message, but they don't always find them. And just helping them in that is a beautiful mission, I would say. And there's another thing that I like doing in my coaching sessions, speech coaching sessions. It's not just that people can deliver the speech, but I really support them to enjoy their message and internalize so that they would enjoy delivering a speech, not just being able to make one.
Nice. And what are the ways you help people to enjoy speaking?
I help them, on one hand, to understand that when they are giving their speech and delivering an idea worth sharing, they are giving a gift. And even if there are some ahs and uhs, it's still something that the listeners will enjoy and take with them and use in their life. And I find that once they figure out that this is not about the audience judging them whether they are good enough, but it's really about the message they give to the audience, it generally helps reducing the stress. And the other thing is that, I don't know, have you ever been to a pub sharing stories with your friends?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
And basically, I believe in TEDx the conversational style is the best. So if you think about, these stories, you don't have to memorize them. Of course, you add data, you have researches, you add some further material. But all in all, the more stories you use, the more stories you share, the more people can connect to you. And normally you don't forget your own stories, do you?
No.
Right. That's great, Bea.
That's 100% correct. I was a Toastmaster for about 30 years in West Virginia. I too started in industry, started with Union Carbide, later Dow Chemical, and the Toastmasters experience was invaluable. And I didn't realize how much of it, especially the table topics portion, where I asked to answer a question that you're totally unprepared for, and you have to make it logical and continue it for between 1 and 2 minutes, depending on there. That was maybe my first introduction to improv, being forced to speak off the top of my head like that.
Wow.
So tell me, what has changed about Toastmasters over the years? Is table topics still the lead event of a meeting?
Absolutely. And also table topics is one of the funniest part of the sessions because everyone can bring in anything that comes to their mind. And I believe that this is really help us to learn a lot about each other and laugh even more. In our club, we say that we are a morning club starting at 8 a.m. That is quite early.
Yeah.
And we say that a day that starts with Toastmaster is always a good day.
Yep.
And I always say that in Toastmasters, we laugh and learn.
Love it. And Bea, you and I are about to graduate from the Humor Academy this year. Well, 2025. Are you excited?
Absolutely. I signed up during the last conference already, and I can hardly wait to be there together. The funny thing, last year in the summer, I held a workshop at the European Positive Psychology Conference, and before our workshop, I met a Canadian professor, Andrew Soren, and he asked me, so Bea, I see your workshop is about humor. So tell me why humor conferences are boring. And I said that you should come to the ATH. It's never gonna be boring. We are in a laugh bubble for 3 days, don't we?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
And I believe that this is the big thing, that there are serious topics, it's evidence-based, like how helpful humor is in business, in health, in well-being, in communication, in relationship with others. I have so many people who say that I will only marry a person who can make me laugh. So this is the criteria of marrying someone. And this is so true. I mean, there are researches proving that couples who laugh together stay together because they can get over many of the obstacles they face.
Yes.
Absolutely. Tell me, what do you wish Americans knew about Hungarian humor or European humor? What are the differences?
In Europe, we have different nations. We have many small nations. If you think about it, whole Europe is much smaller than the US. And we are speaking many languages and we have many different habits that can actually create many opportunities for laughter, but also it can create some biases. And also in our history, there were wars between the different nations. So I believe that this is an area where we have a different kind of sensibility, especially in Hungary. We were part of the Eastern Bloc. So we had the Russian troops in Hungary very long. And I believe that this had a huge impact on our humor, because humor was always kind of an opportunity to rebel in an acceptable form against the power. And I have a friend in Ukraine who was telling me about the Ukrainians and how they are using humor as to cope with the difficulties that they face day to day. So I believe that in Europe, very often we are using this, the humor to rebel, to cope with the challenges. And I believe that we should use much more.
Yeah, and the international cultural differences are so interesting because I was in Europe for 7 years. Unfortunately, I didn't know you, and I didn't know to go to Hungary.
Not yet.
Not yet, right? And but entertaining international people on the Ramblas in Barcelona, and working with German troops and British troops, the humor's different. And when I returned to the States, the humor's different. The one common denominator I found, if I was working with Latino populations, was soccer or football. And I could make jokes about Barcelona and Madrid and which team I chose, and that was across the board a good place to work with the Latino culture. Have you found any kind of threads like that in the international space that you've been in?
I believe soccer is always a good topic for men, and speaking the languages, the way different people speak different languages can be very funny. Once I had the opportunity to ride a taxi, where the taxi driver was actually telling me how Russian, Spanish, French, different nationalities speak English. He was hilarious. I was telling him he should go to a stand-up show because people would pay for that. I mean, imagine my drive in Bucharest from the airport to the hotel listening to that. So that was a very good ride. Yeah. And things like this happen in Europe. It's just so spontaneous.
So yeah. I'm gonna just go down a little rabbit hole here. So if I say a word in Castilian Spanish, and then I say that word in Argentinian Spanish, it's a very different context. So in Hungary, do you have different dialects?
We don't have. We have some dialects, but people do understand each other. So we don't have this kind of dialects. What is very interesting when I'm talking to people whose parents left Hungary in 1956 or even earlier, they learned a language that used to be here in the 50s or before. And that's very interesting because one of my friends keeps calling me auntie.
Oh,
And she's the same age like me, but somehow that when she was a child, that's what she learned. And first I no, I'm not that old. Why are you calling me like this? And then I realized that that's how they learn the language. And it's really so lovely. And I'm very happy to say that there are many Hungarians speaking very nice Hungarian. Very little dialect, but the style is different. And it is actually funny.
Hey, yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Let me tell you a few words about how did I start humor. And this is really going back pretty much to the to when my son was a teenager. And I used it as a kind of survival tool, if you can say that, because I don't know if you ever had this experience, but living with a teenager is not easy. I see with 4, it's
I've had
unless they dealt with each other. We had quite a few fights. And after a while, I realized that my son was actually a perfect boy because a teenage boy's major job is to drive his mother crazy. And he did that perfectly. And then when we started fighting, I was just, okay, Bea, remember, he's perfect. And I could have a laugh and tell him that that's okay. How about we continue that later instead of really getting into the fight? I believe that this did help our relationship.
Yeah.
So,
lovely.
And I just realized that if I can use humor for this way, how can I still use it? And there are a few things that I'm famous of. I'm very good in getting lost. In every new place I go to, I'm a typical woman from this point of view. And it's very frustrating, especially because my husband used to be a chopper pilot, and he's very good in navigating. So he keeps teasing me. And I was always upset. I was in a hurry getting somewhere, and I got lost. And then I realized that this is not helpful, because if I'm stressed, it's even more difficult to find a place. So then I was telling to all my friends that, you know, guys, if you go with my friends, you will go where you want, when you want. If you come with me, we will discover beautiful new places. And at 11 p.m., after our lunch in Barcelona, the team decided to come with me, not with my friends. And we discovered beautiful places. And
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I just find that if we can really laugh at things that are frustrating and annoying, then it's helping me. So that was the first step to really start using for myself. And then, thanks to the Humor Academy and the workshops at the Humor Conference, I realized that it can be taught. And I was very happy with that. There was only one problem.
Oh, what was that?
It can be taught, but I might not be the right person for that. And it really took me, I have an NLP master. I'm also an NLP master myself. And we had a 5-day camp where we were working on identity. Like, what is your next identity you want to develop? And my to-be identity was that I'm a good humor workshop leader, facilitator.
Nice.
And after the 5 days, and after lots of laughs, I did believe finally that I can do that. And once you believe it, you can actually do that. So that's the secret, I believe.
Agreed. I completely believe in that mindset. And I just want to circle back a little bit to Jim Bob said he had 4 teenagers all at the same time.
The worst we ever had was 3 at one time. You know.
And do you want to talk about that experience?
It was great. But like, as Bea said, the job of a teenager is to drive their parents crazy. And I think part of it is, as they're maturing, they're testing boundaries. They don't always test them at convenient times or at convenient places or in convenient ways. But if you can have, put this way, you have no control sometimes over what they're going to say or do, but you do have control over how you respond. And if you can respond with a humorous framework, it's generally more successful. And one thing I've been happy about is all my children love humor. And when I see my oldest son interact with his son, my grandson, who's 8 years old, and they use humor, and they're playful, they tease each other, they make corny jokes, bad jokes with each other. I say, okay, the torch has been passed. And my son is ready I hope he's still laughing when my grandson's a teenager. But it's still lay the groundwork. They'll have many laughs together before they fight over curfews and borrowing the car and things like that. But if you don't, well, how about humor and peacemaking? Is that another topic there? Can we use that in conflict? Yeah. I've always found if I was in conflict with someone, if I could find something to joke about, and we had that common ground, that was one bridge, one connection that would help us eventually get to a solution.
Yeah, that's great. Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Jim Bob. Going back to Bea. So you coach C-level executives, and how does humor fit into that now?
I believe that the life of an executive is very stressful.
Yep.
And humor is a great way to reduce stress. And I find that when we are getting to a topic that is not always easy, and we can have a laugh at it, then it takes the weight of them and they can open up easier. I believe that's one very useful if you can learn like how to apply it in your day-to-day life. As I mentioned, like instead of getting lost, I'm now discovering new places. And I do have people find like, what are the things that are really frustrating for you, but you cannot change? Because
Ooh, I
if you
love
cannot
that.
change it,
Mm.
you can still change your perception or your attitude towards the thing. Because my favorite story is basically Todd Hart's. Todd is a certified humor professional also from AATH. And when I was on my at my first conference, he talked about his project. I don't know if you remember, this was the red light laughter.
Remind us.
Red light laughter. So he actually created a little sticker with a red nose in the middle of a red light and wrote on it red light laughter, because when he used to go to the office and he was in a hurry and the traffic light turned red, then he was always upset. And this was not very good. He arrived to the office upset. And guess when the people see that the boss has just arrived and he's really stressed out, how the people will be in the team.
Right.
I mean, emotions are contagious, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
And he figured that this is not very useful, and that's why he chose for his project to make it the red light laughter. He created this sticker and put on his dashboard. And next time when the traffic light turned red, he started to laugh like,
That's
and people
awesome.
might have looked at him funny, but it did help him to arrive to the office in a good mood. And guess what it did to the team? They were in better mood as well because the boss was in good mood. So it did not only help him, but also his team. So I absolutely love that.
Would
And
you
I
say
believe
that
this is something that we can all learn from.
would you say that that helped productivity and bonding between the team members and lightening up the situation? That's amazing.
Absolutely. And I just believe that if people laugh together, it is creating belonging and trust within the team. So, and also, I don't know if you have ever noticed, but if there is a team where people don't feel safe, they don't dare to laugh. Because
Yes.
what happens if I say something funny and the other people will get hurt? So I believe that it can be a vicious circle. I'm not safe, I don't laugh, and then it's not going to be a trust. Or it can be a virtuous circle. We can laugh together, we trust each other, and the trust is growing, and we feel much better at the workplace. So it can go both ways. Why don't we choose the one where it gets better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So do you have any projects now that you're particularly excited about or like to tell our listeners?
Oh, absolutely. I was very happy to realize that, I know that humor is part of the positive psychology. It's one of the character strengths, for example. But I was pleasantly surprised when we were in Innsbruck at the positive psychology conference with my friend, and we delivered our workshop, that there was an excellent feedback. People loved it a lot. And next year, their conference will be in Brisbane or in Australia.
Wow.
And when I go to a conference, I submitted an abstract and I will come back in December telling if it's going to be accepted or not. But I hope it will, because when I go to a conference, I use positive psychology a lot, but I'm not an scientist or expert in this field. So I always look for someone who can be my counterpart covering this area of expertise. And there's an amazing woman. Her name is Dr. Susan Jackson. She did write a book with Mihai Csikszentmihalyi on flow in sport. And now I started to use his book and his flow scale to coach people, because I believe that her newest book is the Experiencing Flow. And I think that's very useful. And I found a study showing that humor and flow can be connected. Using humor can help people to get into flow easier. And this is what I want to experiment with in the following period. And I already recruited some amazing people helping me. I have a friend who is working with horses. And of course, working with animals, you can get into flow easily. So she's one of my partner in crime. So we are putting together a workshop using her wisdom and my experience with humor and flow, and we will put this together. So I believe that really helping people to use more humor, being in flow, that is an amazingly productive and very fulfilling state, I would say, is something that I would really like to learn much more. And also I would like to help my friends and my clients with working on it and helping them to use more humor and also to get to flow more often.
Yeah.
Love it. That's brilliant. I'm a huge fan of flow.
I'm kicking myself saying, why haven't I thought of combining humor and flow before? I could see how it can jumpstart the.
And actually for this workshop, we plan to use improv, because I believe that when you are improvising, you have to be in present, you have the proper challenge skill balance and all those kind of things that help us. So mindfulness is a great pathways to flow, but I believe that using improv and using humor are also good pathways to get to flow more often.
Yeah, let's talk about improv. Did you not just attend the Applied Improv Conference in Europe?
Yeah, and this fantastic Applied Improv has the conference 1 year in the US, the other year in Europe.
Yeah.
And since I already had some conferences, Toastmasters, ICF, ATH in the US, and that's quite costly to, let's face it, from Europe. I was very happy to learn that the next conference is in Prague, and Prague is close to us. It's like 6 hours in train, and I have many friends there. So I went there, and I mean, I met amazing people, and these people are not just very fun and helpful, but very generous. So they were helping us so much. They were sharing the wisdom, and it's also like, it's just like the Toastmasters and the ATH. Applied Improv Network is also laugh and learn.
Yes.
So I believe that I am attracted to organizations where people are very open, very supportive, they want to grow, and they love to laugh and learn together. So I believe that's the sweet spot for me.
Love it. I'm right there with you, Bea.
Absolutely.
I ask you, we are in year 3 of the Humor Academy. And I don't know if you talked about your project. So let's talk about the Humor Academy, your project in year 2, how year 3 is going for you, and how the Humor Academy, just that by itself, has made an impact on your life?
Absolutely. Humor Academy made an impact on my life in many different ways. I met fantastic people, and when we are together in our monthly sessions, it's laugh and learn, of course, but I always get some new ideas, some new inspiration. I learned so much from our teachers and from my classmates. After these weekends, I always have some new ideas starting to work on in my day-to-day work as well. My project is, as I told, is to really start a kind of community, like help people laugh more and complain less. And I'm very happy that now there are some new humor ambassadors in our company. They studied at our coach training at the Budapest Corvinus University. And now they joined our company, Business Coach, and they are my partner in crimes in starting to experiment even more with humor and flow.
What's the name of your project or your community?
No, it's the humor ambassadors, like building the humor community. That's the humor ambassadors, basically. And I encourage everyone to really first start laughing yourself more. You know the saying that if you smile at the world smiles back. And imagine when you laugh at the world laughs back. So we always have to start with ourselves. And if people see that you laugh more, they want to know how you do that. And then you can spread the word.
Yes.
So basically that's one thing. And also we have workshops at my company. So humor and stress management, also humor and leadership, humor and creativity. I mean, humor is helping in so many different ways our life.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you. Can I ask you in Hungarian, what's your company in Hungarian?
Okay. The company is very easy because it's Business Coach Limited. So by the way, I don't know if you know, but the coach is coming from the Hungarian kochi. That means basically like the couch.
Okay, I know that.
Carry.
Interesting.
So, and we have a village called Kochi in Hungary. In Hungarian, humor ambassadors mean humor nagykövet.
Love it. Nagykövet, is that right?
Nagykövet, yes.
And if someone would like to be a humor ambassador, how can they reach you?
They can reach me on both LinkedIn and Facebook because I'm the only Bea Bincze. There are not many names that are the only ones. So that from this point, that's quite easy. Also, we have an online community platform on which they can reach out. And I believe those are the easiest ones.
Okay.
And let me just tell you about one of my big dreams now.
Sure.
I love the humor conferences, but whenever I invite my friends from Europe, they say that it's too expensive. And my big dream is that by 2027, if we can recruit enough humor ambassadors, then we would like to hold a humor conference in Europe.
Yes.
And I believe it's doable. We have already held European conferences for Toastmasters multiple times. And if we get out the word and if people will start experiencing how useful, how great this is.
And you are ideally suited to make this happen. You've got connections across a number of different communities, the business community, the Toastmasters community, the AATH community, now AIN community. If you build it, they will come.
And also, if you think about humor, there is also the organization called International Society for Humor Studies.
Yes.
That is mainly focusing on the researches, and I just became a member of this organization because I believe that evidence-based researches are a very important background for us. And if these people get together with the practitioners, so it's really for the academics, for the practitioners, and the pracademics.
No.
And Bea, that brings up, were you part of the Illuminati?
I was, and I learned a lot from them. I really enjoyed this journey. And then, unfortunately, my life took a different turn. I learned in ATH that humor can help us in many different ways. And I was amazed to see at our conference that, for example, for the college studies of the caretakers, they have humor as a subject. And at the end of last year, my mom got dementia, and I became the caretaker. And I realized just being able to laugh with her helped me so much because sometimes the situation was very difficult, but laughing together helped us to get through. And now she's she's doing better. And we still laugh a lot together.
Good. And I'm sorry to hear about your mom's dementia. And that's tough going, tough. I don't want to call it work, but it's a tough situation to be caring for your parents. And my mom can be pretty cranky. And so when I do talk to her, usually I was explaining to a couple people that after I do my humor homework is the best time to call my mom.
You see,
kind of sets me up to start looking for the humor in our family and in her past and find good memories and things like that. I think it's quite powerful because it really takes away, and you might agree with this, like, you know, it's very easy to take things personally. When you have someone who's angry, it's not their fault, but yet it can be pretty abrasive. And learning how to work with the humor as a caretaker makes all the difference. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I'm glad to say that she's getting better. But when she was in a very difficult situation, I was watching many videos. There are very good videos on the YouTube on what to pay attention. And one of the most important was that if you are stressed or you increase your voice, then they will become defensive right away. But if you can stay easygoing and laugh with them, they will go with you. And I believe this is true in every part of our life, but especially with people who has less mental control, that's even more true.
I completely agree with you. That's lovely. That was so succinct. The way you put that together is just so clear. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to ask you the question that we ask everybody. Again, we're the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, and we need to apply it, and we need to apply things in a therapeutic manner. So if someone is going through a bad Thursday, for example, just another day of the week and all of various troubles going on there, what piece of advice would you give them on how to use humor on Thursday? Oh, this is like table topics, yeah. So
okay,
great.
There are a few things I would invite, because everyone can have a different background and a different humor style. So what I would ask, what was a funny moment that happened in the last week or last month? And I would ask them to tell me about that. Because once they start thinking about that is different, then they are open. Sometimes people are not ready right away. Sometimes I start with giving some empathy, sharing that I see you have a difficult time. What do you need? Could I offer you some water or coffee or something? And once they calm down and they are open, then I can ask them. If I know that they have like kids or grandkids, or pets maybe, who they love to talk about, I will ask them, what did they do? And what did they laugh together last? And all those kind of things can help me. But sometimes we just need to help them to arrive, to be ready to start humor. So I don't always I generally start with empathy and have them arrive to be ready to start humor. And bringing back their own stories, bringing back what they laughed is the easiest, because it cannot go wrong. If I say something, they might say that, no, I'm not laughing at that. But if they say it, they are always right, aren't they?
just fascinating. So you'll be in Charlotte this May for AATH?
Absolutely.
You'll be
We
getting
are
your
going to graduate.
Yeah, graduating from Humor Academy. That's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Becoming chips.
Yes.
I want to just also add that, Bea, you do a lot of publishing on LinkedIn with articles and information. What's your latest post that you'd like to share? Do you have something coming up that you're sharing on LinkedIn?
I am finishing now a training program. It's called Brain by Design.
Uh-huh.
And I believe, and I know, Katie, you are also looking at like how our brain is reacting on the different things that's happening to us and
Yes.
what can help us to build more effective new habits, for example. And one of my favorite is I learned it from James Garrett, the CEO of Brain by Design. It's fun comfortable, moving from uncomfortable to fun comfortable. So our brain is actually loving things that are fun. So if you start building a new habit and you can add some gamification or make it fun, or something that you can laugh at, pair it with some fun things maybe, or just piggyback on another habit that makes you feel good, then you can build new habits faster. So this is what he calls fun comfortable gym. And now when I'm looking about like, what do I want to change? I always look at like, so where is the fun in it? How can I infuse fun into my day-to-day activities? How can
Wow.
I help my clients infuse fun into their challenges, into their new changes that they have to go through? Because fun helps in everything.
I
And our
love
brain
that.
loves it.
I love that. And then can I just ask, is there a tie into play and fun?
Absolutely. One element of the fun is definitely playing. Creativity, playing. So humor has so much more. It's definitely not just telling jokes. I love Steve Saltanov's categories that we have the physical part, the laughter. We have the emotional part when you are cheerful. And then there is the wit, that's the smart part of the humor, basically. And people might not laugh loudly sometimes when you are witty, but it's still humor. So I believe that each of us have different humor style, and we can just live up to that and use as much as possible.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was hoping to have a conversation with you about play too. So perfect. Do you have a website?
Business Coach KFT has a website about our humor workshops. So we have this in English as well. So I can send a link to that.
Yeah, and so people can find you on Facebook and LinkedIn primarily, Bincze. Are you still the club growth director of Toastmasters International?
I was also district director.
Nice.
As district director, and then I retired from. So now I'm past district director, basically in Toastmasters.
Okay.
The
But
beauty of
yeah,
Toastmasters is you can get involved at a number of levels. And I don't know what level would be left for you except for international president.
Right.
and but I did love it because when I was club growth director, I could help building clubs in Germany and Denmark and in many other countries in Europe, not only in Hungary. And I love building clubs in Hungary, but adding more countries is even more fun and meeting more people.
Love it. And Bea, if there's anything that you would like the international crowd out there to know, what would it be?
I would invite everyone to start experimenting, playing, experimenting, be curious as a child, because kids laugh throughout the day. And once we stop taking ourselves too seriously, then we can laugh much more. Actually, one of the things I heard that in the past, I used to take myself seriously. Now I take my business seriously, but not myself. And it helps me to be more effective. So, and this is a message I believe to everyone. Be a leader, an employee, a family, head of a family, a child. Everyone can find the fun around us. One thing that I liked, I have a metaphor basically. Yeah. In Europe, I mentioned that Hungary was in the Eastern Bloc. So, and there was an Eastern European car called Trabant. This was small and not trendy at all, But this was the one that we could get the fastest. And my first car was a Trabant, but it was in 1992, after the change of the regime, when there were mainly Western cars on the Hungarian roads. And I went out feeling like, oh my God, I'm gonna go out and there are gonna be all those Western cars and people will laugh at me. And I went out and there were Trabants coming from every direction. And I realized that those Trabants were there earlier too, but I did not notice them. Once I had my Trabant, I started to notice them. And humor is just like Trabants. They are all around us. We just need to shift our focus and notice them. And you know what? I live in Budapest, and before I got pregnant, there were no pregnant women in Budapest on the streets. And when I got pregnant, everyone was pregnant nearly. I don't know what happened on that specific night.
That's hilarious.
But I believe that this is what you need to remember. And hopefully you will find lots of humor around you.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you so much, babe. That was perfect.
Is there one book or one TED Talk in particular that you'd like to mention as being influential in helping you and helping others?
Currently, I have 3 favorite books.
Okay.
The first one is Humor That Works from Andrew Tarvin, because he's an engineer. He started to learn improv as a project. Mm-hmm. And we know that consistency beats spontaneity. And he's an amazing guy.
Andrew, if you're listening, we did not pay to mention this, but go ahead.
Yeah, he calls himself humor engineer. The other one that was a big inspiration for me is humor, seriously, is Jennifer Oker and Naomi Bagdonas. Okay. And they are the 2 ladies who started to teach humor at the MBA postgraduate program of Stanford. Yes. And this is where it really got into the business world. And since I have a business background, this helped me a lot to really show people that this is relevant. And now my favorite is Paul Osinkov's Humor Habit, because humor is a skill that we can learn, and Paul collected them together beautifully, so many materials, so many examples, exercises that everyone can use. So if you can, come and join us at the ATH conference. Also, come and study Humor Academy. But if you can't, I recommend to start reading Humor Habits and start putting in practice in your day-to-day life.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was great talking to you, and looking forward to seeing you at the conference. And let's put Europe 2027 for a humor conference.
Yeah, in Europe.
Yeah.
And Bea, I'm excited we get to start planning in January our graduation, and we get to walk together. I'm so excited. 3 years. We've been doing this for 3 years.
And what a fantastic team we have. And
yes.
With all the...
What a brilliant experience. Really. I just want to help highlight that the Humor Academy has been incredibly educational, incredibly practical, and incredibly wonderful, and to get to know you. I don't know how else I would have gotten to know Bea so well, except that we've been able to spend 3 years in this wonderful situation, and yet I still think she's from Bulgaria. Nope, she's from Hungary. Thank you so much, Bea.
Thank you for the opportunity, and it was so good to finish the day with you and laugh together again. Have a wonderful time, and by the way, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too. Happy holidays.
This has been Laughbox, the official podcast of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, and we'd like to thank our very special guest, Bea Bincze.
Yay!
Laughbox is a production of the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. Visit us online at www.aath.org. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Music by Gary Rubio. For more information, www.garyrubiomusic.com.